everyone, welcome to Michelin King, wherever you're watching this, YouTube or other social media. So we've got a brand new wax and it's called Empire. So Empire, it's part of the luxury range. So what separates this from our core wax to our luxury wax are the oils, the ingredients, the waxes that we use. So what I'd like to do today is we'll just give you a quick demonstration of how to use the wax, how to get the best out of it. Plus we'll look at some of our really popular products such as Titan and Pure, just to get the absolute best out of this wax that we can. So let's dive in. Right, so what we're going to look at on here would be a product called Pure. Let's go. So you've got your 4-inch microfiber pad, which we can see here. And all we're going to do is, before you use Pure, did this off camera, but just give it a shake. And then we're obviously only going to do a small amount of the car. So we're just squeeze some out. Onto the pad. Just like that. So just a small amount. And what this will do is it will remove things like tree sap, anything that's organic that basically Pure can melt down. It also helps with wash marring, very light cobwebbing, that type of thing. You can use this via dual action. It's the exact same process. All you want to do with the dual action is obviously have your pad, coat it, but make sure your pad's touching the panel before you turn it on, and then just speed about 2 to 3, and you just want to pass that over until it turns to a clear film, really, because what the clear film indicates is that it has done its work. It's, you know, you've worked it down to the clean film, so it's ready to remove. The other trick with Pure is to let it cure as well. Give it a few minutes to set on the paint, just as you would other cleaning chemicals, to let it break down what's under there and pull it off. Now I can already see a massive improvement in the gloss. This car, especially this side, I think just because we normally film the other side, was really lacking that high gloss. So nice and easy to work with. You don't even need a dual action. You can pop into Argos or Home Depot or whatever it might be and pick up one of these orbital buffers. Does the exact same job with Pure. It's not as, okay, doesn't do the exact same job. It's not as good as a dual action, but if you don't want to shell out for a dual action, then you can definitely go for the orbital as well. So hopefully you can see this, because it is a bit overcast today. You can see the amount of dirt. There's the Pure there, the purple product, and there's the dirt that it's managed to lift from the car. I can't remember exactly how long ago it was that we last used Pure on the panel, but it wasn't that long ago. I don't even know if it was up to 2 months. Yes, the car's a daily driver, but we live in an environment that isn't really, we're not near a major city, so we're not really, we don't get a lot of industrial fallout and things like that. We're close to an airport right enough, but not close enough that, you know, we're getting fuel dumped on the factory or anything like that. So it just shows you how much dirt is actually in your paint. Now, I'm going to use the cloth that everyone loves at the moment, and that is the Olympian. So it's plush on one side and a slightly shorter nap on the other. Doesn't really matter for this, just as long as you remove all of the product. You don't want any Pure left on the paint, especially when you're adding a sealant. This just looks incredible. So it really does, it really gives the paint a nice deep clean, and that allows the paint to really truly shine. So let's take a closer look. So as you can see by the finish here, It's absolutely incredible. It's already looking very, very wet indeed. And that was just a simple one step so far. Now obviously we've got the wax to add, but there's another product I'd like to share with you, which is Titan. So let's have a look at that. So next up we have a product called Titan. So Titan is essentially a high gloss sealant. So let's apply that and see what we can do. So as you can see, with all polishes and sealants and such, like even shampoos, it's a good idea to just shake the bottle before you use it, just to make sure everything's nicely mixed. Then just unscrew the cap. And what we're doing here is we're just applying a Zorro, so I'll just show you that close up. So as you can see, what I did there, just a nice Zorro. Again, we're not applying to the full car, so we only need a small amount. And when you close the cap back over, just take the excess off. This is now completely sealed, safe to go back on the shelf. Always keep your products upright as well, especially the liquids. And it just means you're not putting so much, kind of like wine in a way, the opposite, right enough I should have said, so the opposite of what you do with wine. So with chemical products you want to keep it upright so that the chemicals aren't lying on the seal of the cap, whereas wine, because it's typically cork, the wine needs to be submerged in the cork so that the cork expands and stays true to its shape. So just always keep your products upright. Now you can see in terms of application, all I did so that I'm picking up new product is I just pat the paint and then applying straight lines, no circular motions here, simply because we don't want to instill any marks onto the paint. The other thing that I'm doing here is you're just running over the edge of the panels ever so slightly, so that if I'm picking up anything at all when I'm working outside, they're ideally coming off the edge. Now you will probably feel contaminants underneath your hand as you're working. Titan's slightly different, you don't need to work it to a clear. It's essentially, it's just a liquid sealant, a very high gloss one at that. You can use this as a single step as well. If you run out of time or whatever, don't worry, Titan does have some really good protecting qualities to it, so perfectly fine if you run out of time just to leave it as is. Obviously we've got Empire, so we've got a nice wax to put on top of this. Always recommend putting a sealant under your wax, just simply because it gives you more protection and it will give you a higher gloss finish as well, so always a great reason to use a sealant. So as you can see, the weather isn't really favourable today, but it's not too much of a challenge. So hopefully you can see with Titan you've got added wetness, but you're starting to get the clarity now, so that's just essentially the layer of Titan on top of the clear coat. So you're now starting to add to the paint, which is what you want to do. Paint on its own is okay, but you really want to protect it so that the paint isn't doing all the hard work. Kind of like if you go out in the rain, you want an umbrella or a jacket, because you don't really want your skin to be doing all the hard work. So it's the same thing, you're just applying a jacket on top of the paint. That's probably a good way of thinking about that. So let's have a look at Empire. So hopefully you can really see things are starting to take shape with the car. You can see that hopefully with the camera, the really wet look shine, and that is the case with Titan. That's why it's been such a almost a viral product to an extent, because when we first brought this out, it was really just to go hand in hand with Lily, which is our highest gloss wax. But what we're finding is we've got a huge variety of customers who are using this on not only their cars, their SUVs, all-terrain vehicles. We've got a couple of guys that stay out in the States, They run a hunting ranch out there, and all of their vehicles have Titan, just because they say when they're picking up their clients from, they've got big, huge, I think it's F350 Jeeps, or pickups, sorry. When they pick up their clients from the airport, it's a bright red F350, and this thing looks amazing. So it's a must-have product, absolutely great, and obviously we ship worldwide, so it doesn't matter where you are, we'll make sure that that product gets to you. So next up, we're going to look at Empire. So it's a brand new wax, you can have a look at it here. As you can see, it's very, very neutral in terms of colour. The colour actually comes from the waxes and the oils, so no colourants are added to this at all. It's very pure. It's a staggeringly good wax. Now, in terms of application, we're obviously just covering half the bonnet or half the hood here. So I'm just going to use a small amount, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. So just have your jar in one hand, tightly gripped, and then applicator. Make sure you put your fingers through the back just so that it doesn't fall. And we're just going to take a few swipes. It is colder today, so you're maybe about 15 degrees Celsius. And the wax has been in the factory overnight. So the great thing about our factory is it's pretty much a stable temperature all year round, because we don't have external windows or doors to it. We have a roller shutter, but it's a smaller size, so we're able to control the temperature quite well. So again, we're just going to dab this onto the paint and then spread it over. I'm already seeing the gloss levels that this will bring. And you can go side to side as well. Just try to avoid circular motions. Just look at that wetness. That is insane. Now obviously in real time you would give this wax about half an hour to 45 minutes to fully cure. The reason being, it's a natural wax, so it does take longer to cure, but the flip side is the aesthetics, the way this wax looks is far superior to your other options. Now this jar is available, obviously we always do this with our waxes. This jar had 3 or 4 swipes out of it for this video. It will go onto the website, and just next to it, so it will say 200ml as used in video, and it will be at a discounted rate. So this will be available to purchases, obviously only one of them. It is the large size that we're using, just because it's easier to get the applicator in, especially for the video. So let's have a look at the results. We'll fast forward 45 minutes and we'll review. So as promised, let's have a look at how easy this is to remove. So we're just going to use the Olympian, the grey cloth here, and straight up and down, left and right, and it'll just come off nice and easy. As you can see, when I was applying the wax, it was a really thin layer, because the thicknesses that you're dealing with, there's probably nothing else similar to it in our daily lives that we come across, so it's quite unusual for us to just apply something that's this thin. You could liken it to maybe if you've ever put frying oil and you just want the tiniest amount, you spray that onto the pan just to wet it down, or if you're maybe if you've got a cast iron pot and you use some kind of oil on that. So similar idea, you just want the smallest amount, just simply because there's only a very small amount that will actually cure on the paint. The difference with the Michelin King waxes would be the carrier oils that they use are in a lower quantity than the active oils. So a carrier oil is essentially that. It just carries the wax formula from the jar to the paint. So I hope you enjoyed this video and that you got something from it that will help you make the choice of your next wax. Now definitely, if you're looking for a new carnauba wax, just look at the whiteness here. So check it out, michelinking.com, and the wax is called Empire. Take care, bye bye.